Think about the last time someone apologized to you, the relief you felt, the sense that something had been repaired. Now ask yourself honestly, did the behavior actually change after that apology, or did the apology simply make you feel obligated to move on? Because there is a psychological trick hidden inside almost every apology you have ever received, and once you see it, you will never hear the word sorry the same way again.
An apology is a tool. Like any tool, it can build something real or it can dismantle your defenses. The words are identical in both cases. I am sorry. I was wrong. I should not have done that. Same words, completely different function. The difference between a genuine apology and a manipulative one is not in the language. It is in what comes after. And most people never wait long enough to find out what comes after. A genuine apology contains three specific things: a clear acknowledgement of what was done, a genuine understanding of the impact, and a behavioral commitment observable over time. No conditions, no deflections, no hidden expectation of immediate forgiveness. A manipulative apology contains none of these. It contains emotional performance, vague language, and an implicit demand that you respond in a specific way. The difference will change every relationship in your life.
Here is the hidden mechanism inside most apologies. When someone apologizes, your brain immediately shifts from the position of someone who was harmed to someone who has received acknowledgement. That shift creates a felt obligation to respond, to soften, to restore, to forgive. The apologizer did not earn your forgiveness. They simply triggered a psychological response that makes forgiveness feel like the appropriate next move. That trigger is the trick.
The word sorry is one of the most psychologically powerful words in any language, and one of the least committal. It contains no specific acknowledgement of harm, no commitment to behavioral change, no plan for the future. Yet the moment it is delivered with sufficient emotion, the receiver's nervous system begins to relax. The social contract feels restored, and the actual behavior that caused the harm has not changed at all. The apology resets the scoreboard. Every time a person apologizes, the accumulated record of their behavior is emotionally wiped clean in the receiver's mind. The pattern that was becoming visible disappears behind the emotional relief of the apology, and the next cycle begins from zero. The apology is not the end of the pattern. It is a mechanism that allows the pattern to continue indefinitely. After the apology has been delivered and accepted, something subtle happens. If you continue to feel hurt, if you remain cautious, your pain becomes reframed as your problem. They apologized. They did their part. Your continued guardedness is now positioned as unreasonable, as holding a grudge. The apology did not just address the harm. It created a new standard against which your ongoing response is now judged. The timing of a manipulative apology is never accidental. It arrives when you are most emotionally accessible, when you are exhausted from conflict, when you are about to create real distance, when your defenses are lowest. The apology is delivered not when the apologizer is ready to change, but when you are most likely to accept it. That timing is not intuition. It is calculation, whether conscious or not. There are three types of apologies that function as manipulation rather than accountability: the DARVO apology, the conditional apology, and the public apology. You have likely received all three and accepted all three. Each one is designed to produce a specific response in you while requiring nothing real from the person giving it. Recognizing which type you are receiving is one of the most protective skills you can develop. The DARVO apology is the most disorienting. DARVO stands for deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. The apologizer begins with a surface-level sorry, and then becomes the victim of the very situation they created. Somehow, by the end of the conversation, you are comforting them, reassuring them, managing their feelings about the harm they caused you. This is not an accident. It is a pattern so consistent that researchers gave it an acronym.
The conditional apology is the most common. I am sorry if you felt hurt. I am sorry, but you should know what you did first. I am sorry that you took it that way. Each formulation contains the word sorry while refusing to accept responsibility for anything specific. The if transfers the problem to your feelings. The but introduces a counteraccusation. That reframes your perception as the issue. None of these are apologies. All of them sound like apologies. That is the entire point. The public apology is rarely for you. When someone apologizes publicly, the audience is the primary target. The public apology manages reputation. It positions the apologizer as accountable to everyone watching. And it creates social pressure on you to accept because your refusal is now visible. The person who was harmed becomes secondary to the performance of accountability for the crowd. The real apology is not in the words, it is in the behavior that follows. Did the specific behavior change, not temporarily, permanently, consistently, without being reminded? An apology followed by identical behavior is not an apology that failed, it is an apology that worked exactly as intended, to buy time, to reset the dynamic, to continue. Accepting an apology and trusting again are not the same process. You can acknowledge that someone apologized without restoring access, without returning to the previous level of trust, without moving at their pace. The apology belongs to them. Your healing belongs to you. These are separate processes on separate timelines, and you do not owe anyone the acceleration of yours to accommodate theirs. Think about the last apology you accepted. Did the behavior change? Specifically, measurably, over time? Or did the apology create enough emotional relief that you moved on before the behavior had a chance to either change or repeat? If you are honest, for most of the apologies that mattered most, the behavior did not change, and the pattern continued. Your response to an apology is more powerful than the apology itself. The person who receives an apology with calm observation, who says, "I hear you," and watches what comes next, shifts the entire dynamic. The apologizer expected emotional relief. They received acknowledgement without access. That shift communicates something the apologizer did not expect, that the apology alone is not sufficient. A genuine apology is uncomfortable for the person giving it. Real accountability requires sitting with the discomfort of having caused harm without immediately seeking relief through forgiveness. It requires specificity about what was done wrong. A fake apology feels controlled, rehearsed, emotionally managed, because it is. The person giving it is managing an outcome, and the performance reveals that, if you know what to look for. Watch what comes after. 1 week after. 1 month after. 6 months after. Does the specific behavior that caused the harm appear again? Does the relationship dynamic return to exactly what it was before? If yes, the apology was not a repair. It was a maintenance tool designed to keep the dynamic functional for the person who benefits from it, at your expense. An apology without changed behavior is not an apology. It is a manipulation tool that happens to use the word sorry. The function of an apology is to acknowledge harm and commit to different behavior. When the behavior does not change, the apology functioned as something else, something that produced compliance and forgiveness while requiring nothing real in return. That something else has a name, and now you know it. When you stop accepting words as evidence, your relationships transform completely. Some people will rise to that standard. They will change. They will show you through behavior that the apology meant something. Others will reveal themselves immediately by repeating, by escalating, by making your standards the problem. Both outcomes are clarifying. You do not owe anyone forgiveness on their timeline. The apology is their acknowledgement. Your healing is your own process. These are not the same thing. The person who apologized does not get to determine when you are healed, does not get to set the pace of your recovery. Your healing belongs to you entirely.
3 rules from the Dark Doctrine. First, watch behavior, not words. Give any apology at least 30 days of observed behavior before drawing conclusions. Second, do not forgive on their timeline. Your healing moves at your pace. Third, you can accept an apology without restoring access. Watch, wait, decide. Starting today.
The next time someone apologizes to you, you will hear something different. Not the word, the function. And that awareness is the difference between a relationship that repeats the same cycle indefinitely and one that either genuinely changes or reveals itself clearly enough that you can decide what to do. Subscribe to the Dark Doctrine. New video every single day. What comes next goes even deeper than this.